Good morning. Welcome back to Alright, What's Next? Today we're going to talk about my friggin' spot again. Well, I'm tired of dealing with this thing. Plus, I want to get into bigger resin projects, and this is a relatively small container on the inside. We are going to upgrade. Always upgrade. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm probably going to take all the usable parts off of it, the regulator, the valve, the gauge, the valves, and probably just shit can the rest of it. Oh, and got me a new toy. I just had a birthday, and this is my birthday present. It is the California Air Tools model number 365 CW pressure pot for resin casting. Supposedly, this is set up and designed specifically just for resin casting. Unlike the Central Pneumatic one, some of the other ones offered by California Air Tools, they are set up for spraying paint. This one doesn't have all the shit inside of it to siphon paint and mix paint and all that other crap that you have to go and modify the pressure pot before you can start using it for resin casting. Oh. What's it got for instructions? Not much. Warning, risk of tank explosion. Oops, spit on myself. Let's see, assembly. 1. Attach the swivel wheels. 4. To the base legs on the tank. 2. Attach the air hose to the inlet fitting located on the tank regulator. That is a long list of instructions. What all has it got? It's got your pressure pop-off valve right here. This is if you over-pressurize it. This will pop, blow out any excess air to reduce the risk of the, of course, exploding. You got your on-off valve, let air in and out. There is an air release valve right here. It's actually air outlet cock. We got our pressure gauge, and we have 4 insanely, no, even the clamps are freaking heavy. It has a max operating pressure of 60 psi with a max tank pressure of 80 psi. So I would imagine the max operating pressure at 60 is probably when this pop-off valve will release. And if it should fail, this tank apparently can hold up to 80 psi before it ruptures. Oh yeah. Yeah, there is nothing on the inside to remove. Anyone who's ever set up one of the pressure pots, like the Harbor Freight one, the Central Pneumatic one that I've got down there, there is a siphon tube in that needs to be removed. There's ports that are unnecessary that need to be plugged. They need to be modified. This one does not. And it has a huge freaking reservoir. So now I think we need to put this thing together. We're in charge of the air compressor. We'll put some air in it, and we'll make sure it doesn't leak. Alright, so yeah, okay, it's got to go on. Unlike my other one, the lid would go on any damn direction you want, of course. This one, you got to line up the clamps with the hold downs. Contrast to the Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic one, which I picked up off of eBay, new for I think 85 bucks. I think you can go to Harbor Freight and buy them for they're $100, and if you got a coupon or something, I'm sure you can get them a hell of a lot cheaper. So yeah, this is 2.5 times more expensive, but it's also twice the size. It is beefy as hell. I imagine these clamps will last a long time. Now we just got to make sure she is going to seal properly. We got our regulator. We're going to turn this regulator down, and we will adjust the pressure after we get air on it. Adjust the regulator. You pull out on, you got the little knob right here. Pull out on it. That allows you to turn it and adjust the pressure. Pop it in, locks it in place. So I'm going to go turn on that air compressor. While it's running, I'm going to, fuck it, I'll leave the camera on. Okay, so I got my compressor charged up over there. Now I've got it pre-regulated on the compressor side that it will only discharge up to 50 psi. That way we've got a safety factor in play here in case there's a failure on this thing for some odd reason, which I really doubt that there is. Before you hook up your air line, check your on-off valve. Right here is going to be in the off position. If the switch, the toggle, the arm, whatever the hell you want to call it, is perpendicular to the conduit that it's connected to, it is off. It's a ball valve. So when we rotate this up, there is a brass ball in there that's got a hole in there. When you rotate it up, it just rotates that ball around, and now that ball is lined up with your conduit. When it's parallel to the conduit, then the air can flow. So you would want to start it with freaking off, that way you don't get an immediate charge of air into it, because then you can actually have a catastrophic failure. Things can blow up on you, because you usually don't want to just dump air into something really, 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 really fast. So now we've got our pressure regulator turned all the way down, so this really shouldn't allow much air in, I think, in theory. In theory, communism works. And then just slowly, well, okay. So we got the valve all the way open, and we're charged up to about 15 psi. So let's pop this out. I'd like to get it up to about 45 psi. Oh, okay. We are at 50 psi. So I think that's good. We will just lock that in place, turn our ball valve back down, then we can take the air off. And then we let it sit. And right now I can already tell, in comparison to my old one, that it's holding air way better, because my old one was just nothing but one big audible air leak. This one, I would imagine I'd have to get a bottle of soap and water out and spray it down to check for any air leaks. But my hearing is atrocious when it comes to people's voices. I can't hear people talking to me. If there is any background noise whatsoever, it just comes out like Charlie Brown's fucking teacher. But air leaks. I can hear an air leak on a trailer or semi-truck from across the shop with the air compressor running and then impacts going. It's like, I don't know, there's the pitch of the air leak, my ears can pick up. It just, I can't hear anyone talking to me. It's whatever freaking, the pitch of the volume, however that sound shit works. So we're going to let this thing sit for a little while, and we'll come back in an hour and see how much air pressure. Alright, so this thing's been sitting here for a few hours now. Thanks to the miracles of editing. He was like, immediate for you. But it is still sitting at 50 psi. So this thing seals really, really nice. I was doing a little reading on it while it was sitting here, and it says, do not over tighten these clamps. Put them down pretty snug, but don't just fucking crank down on them, because apparently you can weaken these over time. And if you weaken the clamps, it can result in the lid being blasted off violently. That's what it says in the instructions. That's pretty cool. So it seals well. We can release all the pressure out of it. We're not going to do that right now. That's loud. Something else I really like about it, it has a flat bottom to this thing, whereas my other one had a concave. You know, on the outside of the container was flat, but the inside of it had a concave to it. I suppose it's to keep the paint toward the center. That's where the siphon pickup tube would go. That made it a real bitch to level your projects in there, because you put your project down in there and it's sitting on a freaking concave base and it wants to slide around and move, and you have to put a board down in there. You got to level the board, make sure you don't bump it. You know, I made that little circular lift out thing. Even that, when you set in there, because it wasn't a perfectly snug fit on the sides, it had a tendency of sitting in there at a slight angle, cockeyed. So you'd always have to get the level out and pre-level everything before you put your resin in there, and it was a real pain. This one, I set it somewhere. I make sure it's set on a level surface ahead of time, and then I know I can put my project in there and it's going to sit in there and level properly, instead of opening it up the next day and finding out that it's freaking a 1/4 inch on this side and 3 inches on this side. That's a little extreme. I never actually did that. But yeah, I can't wait to get a big project and see how well this thing, see how much I can put inside of this. It's a freaking terrific birthday present for my 25th birthday. Granted, it's many, 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 many years late, but I'm pretty happy that I got it for my 25th birthday. All right, so if you're looking to buy one, this is not a sponsored freaking project. Literally, this was a birthday present. If you're doing resin, buy the California Air Tools Model 365 Charlie Whiskey. CW, for those of you that aren't familiar with military phonetics. Make sure you get that model number, because I was looking on Amazon. There are multiple different model numbers that look identical to this pretty much on the exterior, but if you take the top off, it's got like a paddle in there for stirring paint. It's got a siphon tube, things that have to be removed. What I read on them is you got to go to a hardware store and get a big freaking long bolt with a couple of rubber washers to seal it all up. So yeah, right out of the box, you have to modify it in order to do resin casting. And if you're looking for one of these things to do painting, don't buy this one. Then freaking spray paint, which you could, but then you got to buy a bunch of goddamn parts that you don't have. Resin casting, Model 365 Charlie Whiskey. Granted, I just got it today, just got out of the box, so I can't really give you like how well is it going to work, but it holds pressure. It does exactly what I need it to do, and it's big. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, notifications. Yeah, I'll see you next time.